Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here in my backyard doing some filming, and guess what? I have that truck that is pretty much melting people's frontal lobes of their brain. This is it. This is a 2022 GMC Hummer EV truck. But before we get into this full size, full technology, and full electrification truck, let's talk about what's going on here. Hummer. We all know that brand. We remember that brand. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, brought that brand to existence for civilian use from military use following Desert Storm in the early 1990s. And then you had your different models from that original H1 Hummer, but then Hummer disappeared. 2010, the brand was shut down because General Motors took that bailout money from the government. Now, fast forward to model year 2022, GMC, General Motors Truck Company, they've been around since 1912, if you could believe that. But what they decided to do was take the Hummer name and bring it back into existence in a little bit different way. So this is not made by Hummer. This is actually made by General Motors, GMC, General Motors Truck Company. And what's crazy about it, it's not just about the truck anymore. They got the SUV, the fully electric Hummer EV SUV coming, and they also have, of course, that new announcement of the Sierra EV. Now, in the world, there's lots of different trucks that you could go with, but what you're finding is more brands are switching to electrification. You got the popular Ford Lightning. Of course, we are waiting for that GMC Silverado EV to start production. You got Hummers, and you got, of course, the GMC Sierra. But what I want to find out is this truck really the king of all the trucks that have been built to date when it comes to the power, when it comes to the technology, and of course, the drivability? So let's go ahead, let's dive into this interstellar white Hummer EV truck and find out. Right off the bat, the proportions. As soon as you see it, you know it's a Hummer. It has that sort of retro style, but that was not GMC's intention. GMC's intention with the design was to make a truck that looked like you would drive it on the moon. And I don't know about you, they hit the nail right on the head. Now, with this being an edition one, all of them are white with black accents. Eventually, there will be other trims and other colors, but let's see what we got going on. Of course, full LED lighting. So from a technology standpoint with lighting, not only do we have our LED daytime running lamps and turn signals, but we also have, of course, full LED headlights. I love the way they have the multiple vertical LED bars in there, and the way that the body wraps around the housing really gives it that nice muscle look. Now, as we drop down, you do have your separate LED fog lamps. Now, one of the reasons why they did this is to not only illuminate the road better in front of you, but it's also not to blind the person that you're behind at a light. Because this thing lights up just like the USS Enterprise with that bright lighting. You'll notice how they did a lot of work to the underside of this vehicle to make it off-road worthy. But what I really want to focus on when it comes to driving, we've already done the off-road portion. And if you haven't seen that review all the way back from earlier in this year, I'll leave the link at the end of this one. But we're going to do some more street driving to see if this really is a streetable truck. Now, as we come across the front, we got that Hummer name, nicely lit, the Hummer EV with the LED lighting. Obviously, when it comes to the front, this is going to be your front mounted trunk. It's called an E-trunk. That's what GMC calls it. So this will open up. We have one electric motor up front, two electric motors out back. I like the way they did this lower section here. Everything functional, nice little graphics, not to make it look too fake. You have these massive tow hooks that are going to be able to pull the weakest of the trucks out of the mud, out of the dirt. Speaking of off-roading, full metal plating from front to back. All skid plates to protect. You got your forward-facing camera. This thing has more cameras than the space station. Cameras underneath, cameras all around. I'll show you more of that technology when we get into the interior. This center section is functional for airflow because we do have that liquid-cooled Ultium battery pack in the belly of this beast, and then there's your GMC logo. I like the way they went big with the Hummer logo, but kept the GMC logo nice and tidy. Now, as we go up onto that hood, bold, brash, but don't let it scare you. This thing, you'll see, is actually quite easy to drive. You'll notice the auxiliary lights up top. That is required by the DOT. Those white light housings there up top, those are required to light up nice yellow because of the width of this truck. You have that adaptive suspension, air ride suspension, raise and lower the truck. And then, like I was saying, the way that they did the body lines not only looks like a Hummer, not only has that muscle. I mean, look at this, you got fender bulge. Every guy wants a nice bulge on the fender, but it gives you good sight reference points as you're looking out from the windshield. Now, as we come around, what do we got going on? Wheel and tire setup. So this is gonna be your standard 18-inch off-road wheel, bead lock wheel, so it's gonna be able to take that beating. Look at all the lugs on this thing. This thing is ready to do just about anything, and it reminds me from that standpoint of the H1. And it's got that overall style of the H1 and the H2. But if you're wondering, these are obviously 35-inch tires, 305 on the width, meaty 70 series sidewall, and like I said, that's an 18-inch wheel. I'm gonna have Steven kind of zoom in and show off that air ride suspension, raise and lower the Hummer. Remember, we have watts to freedom, that WTF mode, that's gonna actually drop the vehicle and lower it so you could get that launch. And wait until you hear 0 to 60 time if you haven't heard it yet. Even the way they did the fender flare with GM's Carbon Flash Metallic, I'm digging it. And I definitely am digging the Interstellar White. Now, as we come down the side, tasteful badges, Hummer, and that's another thing. You look at like the headlights up front where the turn signals were, everything is shaped in an H. That's the thought. It's not like they just slapped a bunch of stuff together. Even the way that they did the unique style on the actual side mirror housings, the gloss black with the Interstellar, you got your 360-degree cameras. Loving the way they kept the roof line nice and low. That traditional Hummer setup, black all the way across. We got the Infinity and Beyond roofs. So this is the Buzz Lightyear edition roof. Basically, the Infinity roof panels, they come off. You could throw them in that E-trunk and you could have that open air experience just as if you were Buzz Lightyear flying through the air. You do have color matched on the door handles. And then the bottom is where, this is where they start with the structure of the vehicle. Behind this panel is gonna be the Ultium battery pack. They build the truck around the Ultium battery. That's gonna give you a nice rigid structure. You got these not only frame sliders, but also your running boards built in to get in and out of this beast. And then coming down the side, you can see that wonderful flared fender. Look at how they kind of made that like a crescent shape from a crescent moon. You got the American flag Easter egg right there in that pillar section. And then coming towards the rear, you're gonna get nice large bed, tonneau cover, power sliding tonneau cover. I'm gonna have Steven kind of swing around and just show that flared fender. I mean, this thing is a beast. I love the shape on everything that they did. Out back, you'll notice LED taillights. Think about it, they turned an H sideways. Really, really like all the style. There's another small GMC badge. You got your Hummer EV badge, very prominently displayed. There's your third brake light. Same thing, it's in the shape of an H. And here's a little fun fact. It was DOT required back in 1986 to have a third brake light. So if you see a car without a third brake light, that means it's older than 1986. I'm gonna work our way down and then we're gonna rise back up. So we're gonna come on down. You do have, of course, full towing capability, more protection out back. You can see the massive lower control arms. You actually have 2 electric motors. So this truck has 3 electric motors. The ones in the back have what's called virtual lock, where they'll actually go in unison and recreate a mechanical lock, but they call it virtual lock because they're electric motors. More tow hooks to pull those lesser trucks out. And now we're gonna rise back up. We're gonna lower the tailgate. You'll see all the room that we have in the back. Of course, you push the buttons up top. This tonneau cover will slide forward. You got LED lighting, you got a power supply on the passenger side, lots of toe tie down locations. And then to wrap it off, of course, we have that multi-positionable step. Really well done on this truck. It even has the kicker sound system down there. So basically 2 speakers, you could plug in your phone and just rock out. But look at the details. They even did H's. No other GMC Sierra truck has anything like that. It's only on this particular Hummer EV. Lock it up, close it up. Love the way they did the LED lights on the back and the way they framed everything with that roof line. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop that e-trunk and see how much room we have for your next grocery getting trip. All right, guys, time to get under that e-trunk. Very popular on EVs to have a front mounted storage area, but check it out. Nice electric assist. You can see all the space, the HEV badge. But what are we looking at power-wise? 3 electric motors, 1,000 horsepower, 1,200 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in this vehicle is 3.3 seconds. Let me give you the other shocking number. This vehicle weighs 9,640 pounds. It will do the quarter mile in 11.9 seconds at 106 miles per hour. Top speed is governed to 106 miles per hour. So when you get to the end of the quarter mile, you are tapped out. It could tow 7,500 pounds. And let's get down to the nitty gritty. Range is 329 miles. And with DC fast charging, you could charge 100 miles in 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, you could charge 100 miles. Nice to have this space. And what I like about this particular e-trunk is that they actually designed it to fit the Infinity roofs. So you take those roof panels off, you could actually lock them in here and do your thing. But you know what? Let's go ahead, let's do our thing and get to the interior and see how your daily driving is going to be brought to a new level in this Hummer EV. All right, guys, we're inside the Hummer EV truck, this edition 1. And I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, as soon as I saw this truck, I fell in love with it. I'm just curious about the price because I've only seen ones on the internet selling for like almost $300,000, but I know that's not the price. What's the price? So MSRP for this particular one, now before I say it, think about what pricing was for the H1, the H2, the H3. That'll get your mind set. Here it is. I'm going to drop it like it's hot. MSRP, $110,000. They only made so many of the first editions, or what they call the edition 1. But let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I do like the way they brought the two-tone from outside to the interior. What's nice is it's all like this neoprene wetsuit material. So even though it's white, I think it's going to be easy to keep clean. The bronze accents, very tasteful. And you'll see the H like on the door handle. That's another one of those vertical H's. Working your way down, you got more of that bronze goldish, the Hummer EV imprinted. And then the door pocket is large enough for 2 big old bottles of muscle milk so that you could get swole just like Arnold. And then check out the speaker grill cover. That's actually a lunar map. So that is the surface of part of the moon with the Bose sound system. Going from the door panel to the dash, same thing. You got the H in those nice gold bronze additions. The center portion, just like the door panel, the edition 1, to let you know you did it right. And then check out what we have here. Over 13 inches of infotainment system screen. Great graphics, very intuitive. Now, the first thing I like to point out is that all these little widgets, you could actually change what order you want them in. I like to have the Hummer right up top because now you could go into all the different screen readouts. You could air up and air down the tires from the driver's seat, from the business end, because it's a closed loop system with the suspension. We go back and then we go to home. There's our home page. Nice, easy swiping features. The graphics are great. You could go into your off-road mode. There's that tire pressure again. There's our G meter, drift, the whole 9 yards. Everything's set up within perfect reach of what this vehicle brings. Look at this. Look at the way you got all your readouts nicely done in this system. How about cameras? We got them. Look underneath. You could count all of those pine needles from the pine trees. 360-degree cams, out back, upside down. Look to see if anybody's underneath that tonneau cover that's going to pop out and scare you. I mean, I got every which way. You can actually see the moon from some of these camera angles. So that's kind of cool, the way they have that technology. And then check out the modes. It's just like Gran Turismo. You go into your different mode selector. We get the Hummer H. Look at this. Off-road. We're on Mars. Now we're on the moon in terrain mode. We're towing a freaking rocket booster. Normal, but who the hell wants to be normal? That's not fun. And then you could actually do my mode and personalize it exactly the way you want. Let's say you want to go crabbing. No, not looking for crabs. You actually want to do crab walk. Watch this. You actually just hold it down. You get the theatrics. Crab walk. Engaged. Now we're ready to do our crab walk. And then the best part is it's easy to get out. You got all your toggle switches, dual climate control. We got ventilated seats, 3 stages, and 3 stages of heated seats. What's kind of cool is you just use the toggles. You don't touch the screen. I kind of like that. Once you get the hang of it, it's real easy to figure out. We got our virtual rear locker. You can lock the front and do the virtual lock on the back. You got your heated steering wheel. There's the H again. Open up door number 1. Wireless charging, USB-A, USB-C. Close up the door. I like the way it's all flat black. This is going to control that direct drive transmission with the nice bronze and gold accents. There's your mode selector switch that I was showing you. Open up that guy. 2 cup holders, but watch this. We're going to drop down. You could get your bag of moon rocks and actually put them down below. And I love the way they got that lunar mapping there because we have a very low floor because of that Ultium battery pack. You can see how the center console is. More of that neoprene material. A place for your phone so that you could do your navigation when you're on the surface of the moon. Look for aliens and all that kind of stuff. Lift this up. Check this out. This is where you're going to be able to put like your steroids. So like say you want to really get big like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you can put all your steroids in your steroid tray. We have, of course, the official Hummer cloth. You could clean all the surfaces, including the surface of the moon with this microfiber. This is made by NASA. It actually floats in space. So imagine this floating, but because we're on Earth, we have gravity. That's how gravity works, kids. Then we got enough room here for a large bottle of freaking whey protein. Maybe you want to go soy protein, you can put that in there as well. And you got a 12 volt. So if you want to keep your jug of protein nice and warm, so when you get out of the gym, you're able to just swole right up after you inject your steroids, you're ready to rock and roll. Seats. Love the material, the two-tone, the Hummer badge. No, this does not stab you in the back. But I'm curious, if you were to heat this up and then sit in the chair without a shirt on, could you brand yourself with the Hummer EV name? But the only problem is it'd be backwards. So you'd have to make sure you're looking at yourself in a mirror. Working our way down, electric assist, 10 different ways to adjust the seats for the passenger and the driver. And we have the infinity roofs. So just like Buzz Lightyear, to infinity and beyond. I should have took the roof off to actually do the whole thing, but these are all removable. And you have, I know Steven wants me to show this, digital rear view mirror. There's his Type R, for God's sakes. He won't shut up about it. He loves modding it. He also loves taking it to the track. It's not just for show. It also goes sometimes around a track. But why don't we go ahead, get your butt over here. I got to put all this stuff away. I want to show you behind the wheel of this Hummer EV. All right, guys, here we are, business time. Now, if you're wondering why do we have the door chime going on, to have the Hummer EV turned on, you got to just deal with the sound. So I could show you blank screens, or I could actually show you screens that have information on it. I want to show you the screens with the information. But before we get there, you got a very interesting sill plate. It is aluminum. I wish it was something a little bit more fancy, but you have those all-weather floor mats. That's good for an additional 5 extra horsepower or 10 miles of range, whatever comes first. You do have your adjustable seats. And when you're sitting here, remember, I'm 6 feet tall. Even with that lower roof, it feels great in here. Lots of space. And then the steering wheel. As soon as you notice it, you'll see the plastic strip up top. That obviously houses the LED lights for Super Cruise. This does have Super Cruise, that semi-autonomous driving. The Hummer EV name, I like the way they put the badge on the base of the steering wheel. Everything is flat black with the leather. And then you see this paddle right here? This is not for simulated shifting. It's not even for regen braking, technically. You could actually brake with this paddle with your fingers. That's pretty cool technology. Yes, you do have regen braking. And then there's your massive dash. Really clear, lots of graphics, all the readouts. And what's great is you could actually scroll through a cornucopia of information. So that's another nice setup. Why don't we go ahead though? Let's get in the back seat because I want to go on throttle in this electrified Hummer. All right, guys, it's time to get pumped up in the back seat. And like I was saying, because this is a BEV, what does that stand for? Battery electric vehicle. The floor is lower, and you'll also notice the floor is very flat, so you're getting more leg room than ever before. Backs of the seats have that neoprene material. You do have large pockets, so you could definitely put a couple issues of Muscle magazine back here. You do have your command center with the climate controls. The one thing I'm gonna have to zonk is that there's no ventilated seats. WTF, and I'm not talking about Watts to Freedom mode. I'm talking about where's my ventilated seats in the back. I do like the way they did the AC vents with the gold bronze trim, USB-C, USB-A. You do have your protein Twinkie tray here. Those are legit. They do have them, 10 grams of protein per Twinkie. And then we, of course, have our home power source, nicely placed. What's weird is that there's an actual, I don't know what this is. It's like a pine needle got into the rear AC vent. I don't know how that happened, but we'll put that right there on the all-weather floor. It's still in my hand. All-weather floor mats. There you go. I like the way you'll notice there's a nice arch to the infinity glass roof because to give you a little bit more space back here. I'm 6 feet tall, and I'm telling you, I could get a little bit more bulked up and still feel really good back here. Armrest. It feels like a couple metal springs are in there or something. It's really kind of weird, but at least there's a place to put your arm and 2 places for some more protein shakes. And then your secret stash, that stuff that, you know, technically you're not supposed to have because they say it's against the law, you could hide back here in these very easy to open compartments. And then, of course, it's that time. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go on throttle to the closest GNC. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 GMC Hummer EV. This one being the first edition, and this one being that fully loaded, 3 motors, rear wheel steer, the whole 9 yards. Now, this video review, like I said, I want to focus on just how good is it to be a daily driver, to use this on your normal driving commute and responsibilities. The crazy thing is, even though the truck is massive, you are actually able to navigate it with such ease because of not only the technology through the cameras and everything else, but also the technology when it comes to that rear wheel steering makes it a breeze. I kind of moved the steering wheel down so that you could have a better view of the dash, so you can see all of that in motion, in action. And another nice thing that I like is how you have that finger-operated brake system. I mean, right now I'm just using my finger to brake, and then you could add some brake pressure through the pedal as well. And that's obviously gonna help with your regen braking. We got all the modes, like I showed you before, so easy to just turn the knob. You get that awesome graphic. I mean, they did such a great job with making this truck so futuristic, but yet has the familiar face of a Hummer. And I really am digging that. Having the removable tops, the nice gold anodized feel in here, and everything else is just very well placed and very comfortable as well. All right, guys, we gotta do some on throttle. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Jeez Louise. I tell you, it just pivots you right into the back of your seat and you're off and rolling. The power from the 3 electric motors is literally just out of control. Going into this right-hand bend, that rear wheel steering, on throttle. God. It's like driving a freaking desert trophy truck racer on the road with as much suspension travel as you have, obviously that air ride suspension, and the off-road tires, those massive off-road tires and wheels. All right, I want to show you how to activate crab mode. You're just going to push down on the left side of that shifter knob. Once it turns orange, you're good to go. It says crab walk and we're locked in. And now we're gonna go side to side. So as you can see, I'm turning the wheel here and we're going diagonal. Back the other way. I'm actually gonna do crab walk in reverse. So here we are going one way. And now we're going the other way. In reverse. There we are, diagonal. So it's actually very easy to use, and that's another thing that I like about the truck, is that everything within the system is very easy to use. You hit it again, and then it says rear wheel steering is right back. I'm gonna put it back into drive, and watch this, we're gonna do a perfect circle. So I'm gonna turn the wheel all the way, and as you can see, now we're doing a perfect circle. This is what makes this truck so easy when you're on tighter roads or tighter off-road areas, is being able to do the system of the truck and utilize its functions, and that actually helps you to it being an easier truck to drive. As you can see, driving through this traffic situation, it just, the height that you have, the visibility that you have makes it a breeze to navigate through. And then if you want one pedal operation, you could have it. If you don't, that's fine too. Plus you got that nice finger paddle to help slow the vehicle down as well. Speaking of slowing down, I'm gonna see if I could come to a stop here real quick. And then we're gonna go on throttle. You ready? On throttle, here we go. You just see that nose points for the sky and you're off and running. I mean, it's very, very impressive, and something that I think that GMC knew that they just had to bring a tour de force to kind of just show how fun EVs can be, because obviously there's no sound unless you're making it with your mouth or maybe taking a baseball card and putting it against the spokes of the wheels. But hopefully this has been a nice overall feel of what the Hummer EV brings when it comes to everyday street use. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys. It's been one of those crazy kind of days when you're driving a Hummer EV truck around and everybody is staring at you as if you were Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. But I definitely gotta thank everybody at GMC for allowing us access to this press fleet vehicle so that we could revisit what the Hummer EV truck is all about. Let me know what you think. Is this the ultimate, the baddest, the best, the craziest truck that you could spend money on? Put your comment in that comment section. Let me know if you're gonna go with a different truck that you think is even crazier than this one. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radies Rides family. We gotta give it up to the guy that electrifies pretty much everybody's life, especially ours, by working that camera like a champ. Show Steven some love in the comment section. Thank you, Steven, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.